You tell your mom, okay, I'm at Rabbit's or I'm at Angie's or Angie's at mine. So we really, it was our sisterhood. By that time, it was a sisterhood.
Who is that you've called Rabbit? You can get the zone.
I know. I called. Okay, she's gonna kill me. I'm sorry, but anyway, everyone knows. So at Phoenix, there were many Angelas.
Yeah.
So Angela, for some reason, I think James used to call her Rabbit. I don't know why. Maybe it's the way she smiled because she has a gorgeous smile. I don't know. Who knows why he called her Rabbit? And then for me, because I played Cinderella, my nickname became Cinders. And that's how people used to define us. But there was one time at one of the plays that we did, because now when we do Cinderella, like I told you, it runs from November to January. And the guy who was playing my dad, David Opondoe, who you now see on Anti-Boss, I don't know what happened that day. I don't know if he had like one or too many drinks, but he was calling me on stage as my dad, and he said Shinders, or he shrubbed it and it didn't come out as Cinders. And that night when we finished the production, we had, so the theater, not every night, but some of the nights were bought at the theater by, it could be Qual, it could be, whoever is sponsoring the Christmas run. And I remember this particular night, Serena had bought it. So it meant that the whole team was taken, or a few select of us were taken to Serena as, I don't know if it was prestige or they really enjoyed the show, but they took us to Serena for dinner after the show. And I think we were just having a good time laughing about how this David Opondoe could not say Cinders or Shinders or how it came out. And George Mungai, and I think it was also Jimmy Galu that time because he happened to come for that show. George decided that instead of now calling you Cinders or Shinders, we're going to call you Shinde.
Oh, what?
And George started calling me Shinde.
What?
And so, the next time we're going back to the theater, he's calling me Shinde. Now everyone's like, Shinde who? Oh, that one. Okay, yeah, we'll call her Shinde. Shinde, 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 Shinde,
Shinde.
So that's how Shinde started.
That is so cool.
People actually think that Shinde is my Taita name. They don't know that name is all the way back to a performance where somebody shrubbed it and George modified it. Oh yeah, I have no love for Mercedes-Benz, but I do. But now that's how the name came to be.
That is insane. Who would have known?
Yeah, I know. So it's amazing that my mind has remembered all of this.
Yeah, you're pretty excellent in the storytelling. Okay, so let's continue. So now you 6 chicks are hanging out together. You're getting tired of this thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
You're also growing up.
We are growing up.
What happens next?
What happens next is we go to school. Angie's doing law. Debbie's gone to do marketing. And me at some point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try my hand at film production. But then at the time, I think it was only Film Studios that was offering some kind of course in film. But at that time, it just sounded like it was so much money and I didn't want to burden my folks. So I decided I'm going to go and do interior design. But the friendship is still there. We're still pals, we're still tight, we're still hanging out every Friday. We're still, and somehow I think that contract just sort of dissolved. Because, you can only dance and drink Smirnoff Ice for like over a year. And I think we did our bit for Smirnoff Ice and having a good time. So all through campus, all through school, we're still finding ways. Remember that Phoenix Players is our launching pad into generating revenue. Not only through being called through like dancing gigs or whatever, but even ads.
Model stages.
Exactly. A lot of the time, if a client is looking for a model to be in their advert, a lot of the time they would come scouting at Phoenix. So I remember Angie then did the trust ad, the trust ad which Kina KJ mimicked. At that time, I also got an ad for, what was it? Not Airtel. They were first called Kensel. Yes, I did an ad for Kensel. I also did one for Trust, which never saw the light of day, thank God, because that was shady. Hey, those. I'm so glad that things were not being documented digitally at that time, because what? But we're still making money because now Phoenix has opened doors and people have seen us. A lot of the people who would even come and watch the plays are people who are within this world. So yeah, we're.
And at this time, are you still in the Phoenix world, or you've done your Cinderella and you're out now?
No, me now I've fallen in love with acting.
Ooh.
So I'm not like now knocking or James Falkland or George Mugai, somebody please give me a play. In fact, immediately after Cinderella, I used to camp there. Like, And I'm sure they're like, oh, okay, that your time is up, you can go. But because I had shown James that I was really now interested, because now I found, he didn't know it, but he was opening the confidence in me. Yeah. So
and even your love for acting.
Even my love for acting. I mean, I never thought about acting until that time. And I loved the idea of getting into another world, becoming, you know, whether it's a prostitute or a judge or, you know, a spoiled brat. You're so engrossed in this character. And now I understand film. I understand when like the DiCaprios and the Julia Roberts take up a role and become it. It's because it's so hard to explain. But for me, it was just like love, completely. Like if there was a way for me to like now go to New York and try my hand at acting Lupita style, I would have done it at that time because I really fell in love. By the way, I did a show with Lupita, my very last show at Phoenix, or rather the last show that James Falkland directed before he left and then passed, was a show that Lupita had done. Lupita was like one of those people who you're acting with, but you see the depth of how passionate she is about acting. This chick, while us guys are busy doing Doritos to our face and getting ready, she's on the mirror, because now she was playing the role of a boy. She's now getting into character and sort of like almost imagining her facial expressions. And I used to look at this chick like, man, this chick hasn't come to play. And me in that role, I had a minor role. I think I was just a maid sweeping. But remember, James Falkland has told us there are no little roles, only little actors. So me, I'm just sweeping with all my heart. Lupita is there being the star that she is. And little did I know that this would be this chick who would end up being who she is. Like the people, even in my head, I aspire to become. You know, just that bravery of breaking barriers and going into acting full time. So here I am. We're still doing a couple of shows at Phoenix. We're still making money. If there's a dancing gig, you know, Ian is calling us. And all through our campus college years, we still had opportunities to become sisters, still hanging out wherever we could and still making money, whether it's through advertising, whether it's through whatever it was. It was in the media, it was in entertainment, and we were doing it. And this time we're confident. Like you walk into Phoenix as meek as a mouse, you leave there and you're Goliath. Because you're left there, you learn how to walk. You know how to even go for interviews. You learn how to interact with people. There's something that changes in anyone, and you'll ask anyone who's ever been to Phoenix. You never leave the same. And I feel so bad that there's a generation out there that will never experience that kind of culture, where it's not just about acting and fun, there's also a discipline in you, so that even when you go into a professional job, you're very disciplined about the certain things that you're doing. I never would have learned that in any school that I've been to. Phoenix was the very defining moment for me. And even I think for Angie as well, because she'll even tell you how she's extremely shy. Debbie has always been the one that was a bit more vocal and bold, you know. But even just opening doors for us to decide the kind of career that we wanted, Phoenix was a very defining moment for us.
So now I'm trying to, again, time period, because you know, people may be watching this and they are from different generations.
Sure.
So this university time period starts from about?
This is about early 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003.
Okay.
To my recollection, yes, we're still friends, we're still hanging out, we're still in school, we're still doing plays at Phoenix whenever, we're still like whatever. Somehow, I think it's Angie's brother or Angie herself. I don't know how they got into it, but there were 4 of them: Angie, Rabbit, a friend of ours called Annette, Debbie, and a friend of ours called Archie. They formed a dance group called Rada. Rada was, I think there was like a dance competition back in the day. I can't remember what it was called. But then by this time, I'm now pursuing a career in acting. George Mga is now helping me in trying to nurture this musical career. Because I can dance, but Angie and the rest seemed to be more interested in like really pursuing it as something as a money-making whatever. And I'm more interested in music, but we're still friends. So they form Rada. Rada now gets into this huge competition. It was a dance competition, I forget the name, but I remember their competition was all over. Kina Ian, Kina Dan. They were like a massive group of these Christian kids. They were many. So yeah, there's Rada and then there's All Over, and they compete in this competition. I think All Over ended up winning. Rada came in second place or something to that effect. And somehow, I think either through Angie's brother, or I don't know how Angie got the connection to Nameless at the time, because they were either doing architecture in uni together or something like that. But when Nameless needed dancers, Angie and Debbie ended up being the 2 dancers for him. This is around the time of, what even Mega Rida? Marimo.
Oh, Dully Sykes.
It was Monsky's song.
Oh.
Not Dully Sykes, it was Monsky's song. Before Mega Rida is the one, of course, that people remember,
yes.
But there was the one where...
He had something before Mega Rida.
Yeah, I am the something. Oh, no, Majitu. It was called
Majitu, yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
you
Majitu.
have taken us way
Yeah.
back.
I don't know if that was before Mega Rida or after Mega Rida, but now...
It was a time for Majitu though.
Yeah, it was a time for Majitu. So now Angie and Debbie are the dancers for Monsky when he's performing Majitu. They had like this whole routine that was there. Because now we're dancing chicks. We dance for, please, we can do it in our sleep now. I don't know how they got together and how Monsky came into the picture, but somehow now Angie and Debbie ended up being the dancers for Monsky. And then also there was still Rada within that whole mix. Still, we're doing a lot of things at the same time, but I think also that was a very defining moment for us, and I'll tell you why. Because at some point, I think, okay, this is the version that Angie tells people.
Which Angie? You?
Rabbit.
Oh, Shinde. Your Shinde.
Yeah, the other one. The version she tells people, I don't know how true it is that Monsky got to a point, I think, in his performing act where he wanted chicks who could be a bit more
shakity
twerky and us guys we're very wholesome people. Angie and Debbie were not the twerking kind, so I think that relationship of theirs sort of took not in a bad way though. I think at some point he just wanted something different, and by this time, of course, he's already recording with Ogopa. And so Angie at some point decided, you know what, even us, we're going to sing. Angie, now Dambuki, she's like, we're going to go to Ogopa and we're going to sing. So I don't know if she dissolved Rada. She kind of did. Well, not really dissolved it. Annette, one of our friends, she was going to pursue medicine. So she really didn't have the time that we did in our previous days to get into it. And Archie had flown now to Australia to pursue law. So really, all that was left now out of the group of 6 was just me, Debbie, and Angie. And so now, Angie has decided we're going to Ogopa DJs. We're going to record a song. This is like now our final year in school. Yeah, because now Monsky doesn't want us to dance for him anymore.
I think he got the Boomba chicks, if I'm not wrong.
Winnie and
yes,
Nani.
Yeah.
It could be true, yeah, because then they were twerking or something. And us guys, we were still trying to be wholesome Christian girls. So we were trying to be something other than that. So in one of Rabbit's, when we were, now the decision to now go to Ogopa was made. I remember myself and Angie in her campus room, Parklands. She started writing now our song, Teso. She wrote it and she wrote it and she wrote it, and then at this point now, of course, I am not a writer. Me, I've just found out that I can act and I can sing. I cannot write music. Angie, has always been the more ambitious one. Like, no, I got this. So she's written this song. She's written this song. And the only part I can say that I came up with in that song was Nina ngombe wangu wakidume dume. Because in my head, I still remember that song we used to sing in primary school. Nina ngombe wangu wakidume dume, akitaka kwenda lazima asukumwe. So in my head, I'm like, wouldn't it be interesting if we put this thing of the cow who was refused to move in our song? So she changes the tune. We have this song. Now we're ready for Ogopa DJs. We're going to sing. We're not even thinking about anything else. We're singing because we like to perform. Remember, the foundation of our friendship is based on all of us walking into Phoenix Players, wanting to be performing artists. So here we are. We're going to Ogopa DJs. We've met Lucas. I think Angie might have run it through him. I can't quite remember how it happened. But then somehow we get into the recording booth and we're ready to record this song.
So, okay, I want us, you can't run over that thing like that.
Okay.
So, okay, you write the song.
Yes.
Now, had you met Lucas of Ogopa before?
I hadn't. There's a possibility that Angie and Debbie did
because of Nameless Link.
Because of Nameless, because the two of them were dancing for him. Me, I was just uko back, trying to record my own things. George was busy recording me. I think I recorded one song for James Falkland's daughter when she was getting married. Nothing much.
Yeah.
I was just like trying to sort of figure it out because, what are we doing? We're not thinking about it as a career path.
It's just fun that you guys are having.
It's just the same fun because remember, in our mind, we're paid to have fun. Phoenix was fun. You get a pay at the end of the show. Size was fun. Don Smith is paying us a reasonably good money, and we're just having fun. So for us, having fun meant that you do what comes naturally to you, and if you do it well enough, you get paid.
So now, when you enter, where is Lucas? Like, from an exterior perspective, as we see this huge mega studio, so is it like the Big Pin story where he went and it was his bedroom to make the track? Or for you guys,
by this time he had moved to, this is now 2004, 2002. I don't know about recording in his room, but I know there was a studio in South B. What was the current one?
Hill something.
Was it Hill something? It was there in the shopping center.
Okay.
There was a studio booth there and we recorded that song there. And the way Lucas had worked is he had created a bass. Now me, I've never recorded a song in my life, so I don't know how it works. So he's created this track where he'll record the vocals over and then he'll go and make the track later. So he comes up with this. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. I still remember it. And he keeps looping it. So I'm recording this song over this bed.
Yeah.
So we finished recording.
So the three of you?
No, just me and Rabbit. By this time, Debbie's not sold to the dream.
And
we're going to sing.
To drop vocals.
Debbie was like, by the way, Debbie was not in the studio for that one because she had not even been sold to the idea of Tattuu.
What?
By this time, in fact, even I was still thinking like, what are we doing really? Where are we recording? Angie wanted to call it Tattuu like with a W. Me, I wanted to call it Tattuu with a double O.
Yeah.
In the end, she won. I'm like, by the way, it's okay. I don't even know what we're doing. What are we doing? As in, we're just, what are we doing?
This is insane.
So we're just recording. And then, Lucas has looped this track, and I'm recording. And then we also needed like a lower voice. So Lucas even sang. If you pay attention to that song, there's a man's voice in it. So Lucas, sometimes if he feels like he can add an ingredient with his voice, he does it. So we record the song, finished, done. And that was it. We walk away from that studio and we wait for Lucas to make this track.